Okay, yesterday I went and filled all of my planter boxes that I've been building over the last couple of months with plants, various plants, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, kale, whatever you want, I got it. I also bought this hibiscus tree, but the pot that it comes in is pretty small. So I'm planning on putting it in a bigger pot, one of these. Little upgrade here, so that way the tree can grow larger and give me more flowers, which I will then take the petals off of and use to make a hibiscus tea throughout the summer. So now, after I put it in this new pot, I want to make a cedar boxed stand for the hibiscus tree to stand in, so that way it can sit higher up above these bushes and get more sun throughout the day. And hopefully this will give me more flowers and thus more tea. So now we're gonna go do that. I don't wanna go to the lumber store, so what we're gonna do here is use one of these cedar 2x4s that we've got in my parents' basement here. And this should do quite nicely. Now that we've got our 2x4 outside, got to measure. Pretty sure this is an 8-foot length unless something is wrong here, but you're pulling random boards out of your basement, you never know. All right, look at that. Got 8 foot. Measured that with this tape measure that my friend Liam gave me. Thank you, Liam, if you're watching this. Now we're gonna cut this into 4 2-foot lengths. Those will be our legs. 2 foot should just be enough to get us over the bushes. So we're gonna mark out every 2 foot on this thing. All right, now that we've got that marked out, we're gonna raise up our saw blade, make our 3 cuts, and we'll have our 4 2-foot legs. Real quick, we want to make sure everybody's wearing eye protection, so all right, now that we've got our eye protection, we can make our cuts. You could definitely use a skill saw for this. I don't even know if a table saw is the proper saw to be using for this, but yeah, there we go. It's a good thing I had the eye protection. We've now got our 4 legs for the stand. Now we'll need to construct a box for the pot to fit into, and then get the legs on it. So we're gonna use, for that, we will be using this other cedar 2x4 that I reclaimed from somebody's basement at work. We were demoing a basement and some guy threw out all the wall panels after we were done with it. I took this piece home. Knew I could use it for something down the road. I'm gonna rip this down the middle, make little 1x1s, and then I'll probably cut this into 4 pieces to make the box. Hopefully we have enough. We're good to go. We'll take our rip fence off. Throw our tools away for a second. Even damaged lumber has some type of use. Well, yo! Here. So essentially, we want to be building a box to enclose this pot that the new pot that the hibiscus tree is going to go into. So, flip it over, you get a measurement of the top of the box, and that'll be the top of the pot, and that'll tell us how far across we need to go. So it looks like it's about 15 inches across, so we'll need to make a 15 by 15 box, and then we can place the pot inside of it. So you get a lot of splitting here. It's just what happens with cedar. Usually you pre-drill your holes, but this stuff's gonna be all covered up by some pine sheathing, so it's really not a big deal. I don't care. Just trying to go fast here, get this done. There's 2 boxes that'll sit like this and this. The pot will go in between, and I'll use pieces of this pine board that I got right here. This was destined for a different project, but alas, we'll use it for this. All right, so we're gonna want our sheathing to be the same height as the pot. So in this case, it's gonna be just about 11 inches. So we're gonna cut our planks into a bunch of 11-inch sections. We'll probably need 3 to get across at every face. 4 faces, it's 12 pieces. So I'm gonna need 12 11-inch lengths. So I'm gonna mark that up, and then I got my grandfather's miter saw here, which is the proper saw for making cross cuts. So mark this out, make those cuts, and then be able to start attaching it to these frames that we've just built. All right, now we've got all of our planks for the sides, and look at that. It's just a little bit taller than the pot, just what I was looking for. So now we can go about attaching these to the sides of the frames, and you're definitely gonna wanna pre-drill these. Any of these, I've noticed a lot of these 1x6, you don't pre-drill them, then they just fall apart or split on you. I was at a barn sale the other day, and some guy was selling these for like 25 cents. So got a couple of those, got a pair of those. So these are gonna be nice and convenient. I can now attach this to this, so that way I don't have to hold it in place as I pre-drill it, making things a lot easier. So now we're gonna have a quick video of all that.
I wanna celebrate. Oh yeah. Alright, let's start the drilling.
Oh, Tati, you could come make a video with me anytime. You're bringing great energy to the pod.
We should have put some music on. Yeah.
Successfully made our box. It's not pretty, but we're going for function over fashion here. Just need something we could put this pot in on the front porch, so it works. So now we got to attach our legs to this somehow, and but before that, we're gonna take a little break. So I need something to go in the bottom of the box for the pot to sit on so that it doesn't fall out the bottom. And luckily, I got this random like piece of plywood that I think is gonna be just the right size in the back of my truck. So this is another instance of just using something that would otherwise be garbage. So we're gonna cut this to the right size, should work. All right, so looks like our plywood is just gonna fit properly here. Take a pencil, trace all the way around. This will tell us where we got to make our cut. And we'll take our skill saw and cut that. All right. So now that I've got my plywood base, I've miter sawed all of my legs so that they're the same length, and so that you have a perfect, not perfect, but square angle, and they should be somewhat stable. Now I'm just gonna attach them to the bottom of this plywood, and then I'll be able to attach the plywood to the bottom of this, and we'll have one complete thing. So also I'm gonna use 3-inch deck screws for the legs, just so that way get a little more sturdiness. I've been using 2-inch screws just because that's what I have. It's either 2 or 3, so I'm gonna use these 3s for this and then 2s for anything else. We have our legs attached to the board. All we gotta do, flip it over, screw it into the bottom of the box. Now we're just gonna screw the legs and base into the box. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. All right, here it is. It's not really pretty, but it holds the pot. And it's pretty sturdy too. Somewhat sturdy, I don't know. But now you guys are gonna get a little special treat. You're gonna get to see me transfer the pot to the new pot, or the hibiscus to the new pot, and put it down and see how it looks. But first I gotta clean everything up, otherwise I might get kicked out of my parents' house. All right, so last year I grew some plants in my windowsill, and they've since passed on, RIP. But now I can use the extra soil from that to account for the difference between this bucket and the larger pot that I'm about to put this in. So I'm gonna first dump maybe like 1 or 2 of these in there, bust them up a little bit. Maybe 3. We'll see. Then you gotta bust this out of here. Just gonna squeeze it around a little bit, kind of compress it so that way it is loose from the pot. And then it should, yep, there you go, shake right out. Drop it right in here. And then we'll take the 2 remaining pots and bust them up around the outside so that way it's tight in the pot. Soil here. So I think I'm just going to steal some from some of these. A couple handfuls maybe. Kind of reminds me of about a week ago, 3 weeks ago now, I built another planter box similar to those for my girlfriend, and then we painted them and put them out on her porch, but we didn't have enough soil, so we had to run over to her neighbor's house and grab some handfuls of soil real quick and steal them when nobody was looking. If you're the neighbor and you're watching this, I'm sorry. If you're Lulu and you're watching this, what's up? But it's kind of like that. So now we're all packed in there. We can give my mother her pan back. She'll love that. And drop this in here. And just like that, our hibiscus will now get more sunlight, and then will now produce more flowers and attract more pollinators and produce even more flowers, which means more petals for me and more tea for me, which I can then make into different drinks and share with the guys at work because they love that stuff. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think.